Hey everybody, welcome back to No Jumper News. It's Adam22 here with your man AD. Let's get right into these stories. So back in December, 6ix9ine was hit with a civil lawsuit for his involvement in a 2018 armed robbery. Sakitha Wanzer and Kevin Dozier said that the 25-year-old snitch was present when the 9 Trey Bloods associates ambushed them in Manhattan on April 3rd, 2018. They are seeking over $5 million each in punitive damages from the rapper for a total of $11.8 million. The victims, who also work as publicists, say that they were in the studio when 5 armed men pulled up in an SUV and demanded that they get on the ground before taking their belongings. 6ix9ine and his crew mistakenly believed that the 2 men were members of Rap-A-Lot Records, with whom 6ix9ine was feuding with at the time. 6ix9ine admitted that he recorded the robbery, but claimed that it was Shotty's idea to rob the men during his 2019 federal racketeering and firearms case. According to Complex, in a sworn declaration to the judge overseeing the case, 6ix9ine revealed that he is struggling to make ends meet. Right now, I am struggling to make ends meet. I do not know if I will ever command the kind of advances I was paid before my arrest, and my career stalled, 6ix9ine claimed. He also said that his record deal with 10K Projects expired last month, as well as a merchandise deal. I did receive large advances under the recording artist and merchandising agreements prior to my arrest, he stated in the documents. However, I do not receive any royalties under these agreements either, since my royalty accounts remain unrecouped. It will surely bankrupt me in a way from which I will never recover, to the permanent detriment and hardships of the family members who rely upon me, he added. Wack 100 confirmed that 6ix9ine has little to no money, telling people on Clubhouse that the rapper does not have any money coming in. Yeah, he broke as a motherfucker. That 6ix9ine ain't got nothing. Man, that over there doing bad. Bro, I had to send that $20 for some gas. That's why I was telling my people, ain't really nothing we can do for you right now, because I broke. It's fucking terrible, man. Sad thing to see such a talented young man like this. 6ix9ine has not put out music in over a year, with his latest release being the single Zaza in February of 2021. His 2020 album Tattletales, which dropped following his release from prison, flopped, but did produce the #1 single Trolls with Nicki Minaj. So obviously this is cap. 6ix9ine, I'm sure, has money stashed away somewhere. I mean, I'm sure that the money from that NFT deal he did a while back is still somewhere locked away in a crypto account or whatever. I would assume, if I had to guess, I'd guess that he's hiding his assets in crypto. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of easy to believe that he's really not bringing much money in, because he keeps getting these big advances from the labels and stuff. So he's probably still in a state of recouping that. Who knows how well his music is streaming at this point? But if he's not touring, he's not really selling merch. I mean, I definitely believe that he's not really bringing in much money right now. And you could also imagine that if he really got awarded a $11 million judgment, I mean, I believe 6ix9ine has a good amount of money. I don't know, $11 million is a lot of fucking money. I could definitely imagine him not being able to pay that, and that being sort of the thing that sinks him if he got stuck with a judgment even close to that.
I don't care, boo-hoo. Who gives a fuck when it come down to it? It is, I mean, shit like this is going to keep happening. You know what I mean? And he's already lost the public opinion and shit of hip hop in general. So, I mean, if I was that nigga, man, I'll move overseas somewhere, start, you know what I'm saying, doing Spanish music and get your bags up, man, and pay, do what the fuck you got to do.
I think the thing that's kind of, wait, what was I going to say? Fuck. The main thing is, why would the court even give a shit about this? Like, if you actually robbed a couple of innocent people with your friends with guns and took all their shit, and now they want $11 million, how is you being broke right now a judgment or a reason for the judge to not grant those people the $11 million? Because, I mean, if you did it and there's video footage of you doing it, who cares if you're broke? They're still gonna fucking come at you with the judgment and make it so that you can't own anything for the rest of your life if that's the case.
And they're probably gonna attach that stuff to everything, royalties. This shit been happening. They've been grabbing niggas' cameos. They've been grabbing their Cash App. You know what I mean? Their PayPal and shit. So hey,
if I were the government, I would keep a close eye on 6ix9ine's crypto accounts.
If you was the government, I wouldn't be here.
That's true.
Next story. Kanye West took to Instagram on Sunday morning to call out Kim for allegedly not allowing their children to attend the rapper's Donna 2 release party, as well as his latest edition of the Sunday service. In a since deleted Instagram post regarding his daughter's North use of TikTok, which he was very unhappy with, the rapper managed to call out Perez Hilton and threatened to hurt D.L. Hughley all in the same post. I told y'all before about this TikTok stuff. Now my 8-year-old on here singing she fell in love with an emo girl. Kanye began his Sunday morning rant. referring to TikTok in which Kim North and her friends sang along to Machine Gun Kelly's Emo Girl featuring Willow. He finishes off with, D.L. Hughley is a pawn. Yeah, I know a king not supposed to address a pawn, but I address everything. And I find that address is DL, so don't speak on me or my children. I can afford to hurt you. Ye then uploads another now deleted video of Hughley passing out on stage in 2020 after contracted COVID-19. He captioned it, "We're gonna stop letting practicing drug addicts be used by the leftists to willy lynch our future black people with our own opinion and are not allowed to speak in public. I am the glitch, DL. God does not like you. You have no favor. Your family hates you. I would hate to be related to somebody who used to be famous. Now you're just known as a broke pawn. At least Oprah got billions, allegedly. Come on, leftists. Y'all gotta do better than DL. This Ye. Bring the real smoke, baby." The rant was brought on after an interview Hughley did with Vlad TV. He's stalking her, Hughley said.
He is stalking her. You could think it's cute. If it was my daughter, I'd do something about it. I don't think it's funny. I think that you can't write a beat so good that you get to do these things.
D.L. Hughley called out Kanye's threatening messages directed at him in a series of tweets, including one in which he mentioned Pete Davidson. "It's just too bad that you're acting like a nut. Won't stop Pete from busting one," D.L. tweeted. In another tweet, he mocked Ye's fashion choices and brought up his books. "Ain't no way in hell I ever be scared of a dude who wears 'I Know What You Did Last Summer' boots, Team DL." Adding, ain't it weird that Kanye supposedly has all these goons who will kill for him, but not one of them will get his prescription filled? Here's a thought. While you're on your way to kill me in Calabasas, how about somebody drop by CVS and pick up his Xanax? Laugh out loud, Team DL. In a since-removed Instagram post, they addressed these comments and laughed at one point, telling Hughley, "I can afford to hurt you," and referring to him as a drug addict. They also mentioned mental health-focused comments in a general sense, stating his attempts at such arguments against him are weak tactic. Kanye's Instagram has since been wiped clean, but Kim went to Instagram official with Pete Davidson over the weekend. The couple reportedly started in late 2021. Friday's post marked the first time Davidson appeared on her Instagram page.
Okay, so our script for this episode is a little messed up, so it doesn't actually include the quotes from Pete Davidson, which I'm sure most of you guys have seen. There was the whole back and forth with the texting and everything. The D.L. Hughley one, though, is kind of more interesting to me in a way, because I personally saw that interview clip that he did with Vlad, and I thought he was being very reasonable and respectful, and I don't really think he said too much that really would fall into a category of which should be making Kanye angry. Like, to me, Kanye really should just be taking the advice that DL was throwing out there. I think DL was speaking very mature and rationally about it. And the fact that Kanye hears like decent life advice and just takes it as an attack and then wants to threaten your life over it, I mean, to me, that's a pretty clear sign that maybe your mental health could use some work right now.
Honestly, I do feel like what DL said about if that was his daughter, like when he said that, he would do something about it. I feel that, because if it was this happening to my daughter, I would definitely want to like do something to the nigga. But it also goes to the fact too, is like when you publicly speak out against another black man and shit like that, even if it's advice or anything like that, it's like you go to a white platform and you sit there and say that shit, it just looks bad to the community at the end of the day. And I feel like DL has the reach that he can hit up Kanye or somebody around him and tell him that shit in person. He probably would respected that more and shit.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to talk to him in person, but I mean, people go on podcasts and news shows and they talk about what's going on in other people's lives. I mean, Kanye certainly hasn't made any attempt to keep this shit private. So I think, you know, DL having an opinion, and it's certainly not an uncommon opinion, you know, it's like you could find 5 million people saying the same thing on Twitter right now who basically agree with the fact that Kanye has been acting pretty immaturely. Even the people I see really defending Kanye still are pretty much willing to admit that Kanye isn't really handling this terribly well. I mean, the more and more that this goes on, the more and more I just feel bad for Kim. And I think when DL says, like, stop doing the stuff that made her leave, I mean, Kanye should get a big fucking tattoo of that on his arm, because that is such a good point and such a good summarization of this whole situation, is that like the stuff that you're doing day by day is objectively worse, way worse than anything you were really doing while you were with Kim, but she's clearly just had enough of it. And I mean, I don't know how much more there is to really say about it, but Kanye trying to make D.L. Hughley the target of this whole thing, it just seems ridiculous. And him threatening his well-being and stuff. Could you imagine if something actually physically happened to him, if he actually got beat up or killed, how Kanye would look? Kanye would look like the biggest psycho ever.
I'm not with that, like, especially on a public, you know, in public to the people. Like,
And
that
over
shit is
something
crazy.
so minor. If DL Hewley spit in your face, if he tripped Kim Kardashian at the Vons, then yeah, I totally get it. But he didn't. He just offered a little bit of advice on another podcast.
Yeah, I mean, but I just see where, you know, I just hate that it'd be a fucking, and I know you don't care, but a black man, you know what I'm saying, condemning another black man in public, especially like if you really feel like the nigga needs some help, you know what I'm saying, there's ways of handling that shit. But, you know, Skeet get a point in my book for defending himself this week, because I'm like, you know, everybody was like, man, if I was Pete Davis, I mean, if I was Kanye, I'd slide on him and all that. And I was like, you got to see shit too. Like, it's only so much that any man can sit there and be taking like a punching bag and shit. You know what I'm saying? So just so he wasn't no bitch ass nigga, I was like, all right, I'll fuck with that a lot more.
I like that.
But they need to fight now, though. They got to get down now. It's beyond the point of no return. If I was Kanye, I would say, hey, Skeet, meet me in the Calabasas gym. Let's get in the motherfucking gloves, beat the dog shit out of each other, and keep it pushing after that.
I like the fact that Pete was finally ready to square up, at least in the text messages. And the whole thing about it, though, is that Pete approached it in a somewhat caring way, where he said, I stopped SNL from making jokes about you. He said, you know, I think you should get, you know, help. I think you should go to rehab or something to help deal with your mental condition or whatever. Like, Pete, the way he was speaking to him was not out of hate. It was just really like, hey, I've been pushed around enough. I'm going to start responding to you. To me, the thing is that it's kind of easy for Pete to make Kanye look bad at this point, because Pete just seems so sane and reasonable in comparison to all the shit Kanye's doing. Now, I know that there's a big chunk
That's to the public,
a big
though.
chunk of the hip hop public are gonna side with Kanye no matter what. But to me, right now, Kim and Pete Davidson look great because they're just taking the high road.
I think Kim is where she wants to be. She wants to live a fucking normal life, as much as normal as possible, with the nigga Skeet. You know what I'm saying? He's safe for her, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, even with the shit with North, like, I didn't like that TikTok shit. I'm gonna keep it G. I didn't like that shit. I don't feel his kid should be doing this little rager shit and everything, especially when your dad is pushing the line on Sunday service and he's for God and stuff like that. Like,
well, I definitely agree with you that Kim Kardashian allowing her kids to listen to MGK is an unforgivable offense. Kanye,
You a cold nigga
Kanye
for that.
is right to be pissed off about that. YouTube, if you enjoyed this, do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will be back real soon. Appreciate y'all.